What's up? Welcome to the show, Hammer in the
Bing
building. What
bong. Happening.
up? Ain't shit, ain't shit. Uh, you didn't happen to catch that Diaz Paul last night, did you?
Nah, I don't watch that trash. I saw the highlights on like Instagram and YouTube. I am a big boxing, and I've become lately a big UFC fan where I watched the Poirier Gaethje fight a couple of weeks ago in UFC. This isn't real boxing. This is just a money grab. It's stupid. I'm not going to feed into the nonsense. I will never pay for a Jake Paul fight. Not doing it. No.
Marty, what up? Yeah, no, I refuse to pay too. I watched it on some website. There was actually two pretty good fights. One was the young dude H2O they call him. He's like 19.
Okay.
Yeah. He had a nice fight, and then the two women had a sick fight too. Serrano and the other girl, both from
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn. That was an awesome fight. And then I just love Diaz because he's just the fucking man. He's just
He did.
not he don't give a fuck. Like he's just there. He was there to fight. He wasn't there to actually box. Like he wasn't trying to win rounds and box like a real boxer. Like he was there to just fight and show, Jake Paul that he ain't shit. And he kind of proved that. Like Jake Paul kind of made a fool of himself. Like he should have knocked him out. Like I mean, what does that tell? I mean, you win how many rounds with a guy that does? He's an MMA fighter. He's not a pure boxer. And
So if you
I loved what he was doing. He just kept fucking bullying him going in, and Jake Paul just couldn't really do shit. Like,
if you're a fan of boxing, that does not satisfy your appetite for boxing. It can be entertaining. It kind of reminded me of the when McGregor fought Mayweather, that kind of crossover. And I'm okay with the crossover to a degree, but these MMA guys, it's just not natural for them, right? They're used to grabbing and clutching and headlocking and getting
and
you
then
to
the
the
fucking
ground. Yeah, yeah, I saw that. So I do like Diaz.
that was funny.
I like his give no fucks attitude. It's very interesting to watch, but I'm more of a purist in terms of I want to see real boxers box each other. I want to see real MMA fighters fight each other. And if you've ever noticed, true boxers never go to MMA because they know they'll get their asses kicked within the first minute of that bout. So, yeah, nah, I'm good. I'm not supporting that clown show. Of a scene or whatever it was, but I do like combat sports.
Kevin Diaz, what up? It was actually worth it to see Nate show that he may lose at boxing, but he would win if they fought. Yeah, without a doubt, he'd fucking destroy. I think in a real fight. But yeah, it didn't look too good early, like the first round. But dude wasted like all of his fucking energy, and Nate just eats everything. I mean, he loved it. He was just a show for
And
him. He just went there to get the money, and just like he was like whatever, like.
he has a chin, that's for sure. Nate Diaz can take a punch.
Mm. Hell yeah. But yeah,
Apparently, after
it actually wasn't that bad.
apparently after the fight, Conor McGregor
Not a win.
said that him and Nate Diaz are going to have their third fight in MMA in UFC, which I would pay to see that. That's something I would pay to see.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, tonight we got some trades to go over. I got a bunch of trades people sent me. I mean, I'm sorry if I didn't get to your trade, but I got a ton of them, so I kind of had to pick a few different ones. But
Uh,
we'll go over some trades and any recent news that.
Kamara suspended 3 games.
Well, yeah, Kamara suspended 3 games. We knew he was going to be suspended. Basically, we just didn't know kind of how long. And now he's going to be climbing up draft boards because it's only 3 games. You got Kendrick Miller, who's going to get some time. So we'll see. We'll see how this works out. But I mean, yeah, for Kamara, I mean, awesome if you're a Kamara owner. I mean, you're happy about that. He misses 3 games, no big deal.
Yeah, I would agree. And if you were smart enough to pick up Kendre Miller in your rookie drafts, now you really got a nice little RB to plug in there.
Mm-hmm. Marty said N'Keal Harry to the Vikes. I didn't see that. I haven't been able to check anything really today. But Harry to the Vikes, I mean, that does nothing. I mean,
No, that doesn't do anything for me either. I think he's fourth at best because KJ Osborne has been there. He's proven to be a good third receiver. Addison, JJ, N'Keal Harry to the Vikings mean nothing to me. And they have Hawkinson, so he's basically fifth in the pecking order at best. No, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not excited about it. I mean, he was a good, I guess, prospect coming out, but then just turned out to absolutely jack. Does
Because
he
he went to
revive
the
his
Patriots.
career? Does he revive his career in Minnesota? I don't know to any relevance.
don't
I mean,
think-
like you said, we got
I don't-
Osborne. I mean, he's
He's
unless
good
injury.
in his role. There's just not enough volume for him to be relevant unless Osborne, Addison go down, or maybe even an injury to Hawkinson, God forbid. Well, no.
Even still, he's
Yeah,
trash. I mean,
Kenyon Drake to the Colts. That's interesting.
yeah. I mean, what are they doing with JT? Is there a possibility he gets traded?
It's not nothing with the JT.
So.
It's not nothing. Like I think it could be.
No, somebody got hurt. Somebody got hurt. Who was the backup that got hurt?
Marlon Mack. No, not Marlon Mack. I know who you're talking about. What's his name? Broke his arm.
Yeah, so now it's like Deion Jackson and
yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of staying away from that whole situation.
Yeah, but if Kenyon Drake is definitely a worthy pickup. He's solid. He's a good pass catcher. Zach Moss, yes. I don't know why I was thinking Marlon Mack. Zach Moss, yeah.
Zach Moss is to the Cards. He did go somewhere, but I can't remember. Yeah, Marlon Mack to the Cards. I mean, man, he might not even still make the team. So I mean, whatever.
There was something else I saw that was like noteworthy. God damn it! Where was it? Oh, the news out of Denver is that Javonte Williams is Adrian Peterson, so we're gonna get that out of the way really quick. Get that reference out of the way. At least one per show, so we're getting that out of the way.
I told you, if he comes back and he's ready and he fucking is like 100% go time, it's Adrian Peterson season for Javonte. There's no way, bro. He's fucking bionic. So I think something special could happen. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's crazy to think that he can be back already from that.
Yeah.
From that
really
injury.
Is.
I mean, that's. Marty said he can block. Yeah. No one is AP. That was disrespectful, Hammer. Yeah, I mean, he'll never be AP, but maybe he has some kind of crazy season.
I was only referencing I was trying to get it out of the way so Steve doesn't have to bring it up. But just the referencing of coming back that quickly from that injury, the standard, not the standard, but we compare Adrian Peterson a lot when these guys have these injuries and it's rumored that they're going to be, back ahead of schedule, blah, blah, blah. I don't think he's going to have 1,800 yards, but if he even plays, if he gives you 1,100 this year, if he gets to 1,000 this year, I think that'll be really good, just considering how brutal that injury is to come back, especially that first year. Obviously, we talked about a number of guys who've had that injury, and we know usually the second year is when they're kind of get that full workload and they're back to their normal self. So if Javonte rushes for 1,000 yards this year, I think that will be worthy of comeback player type shit.
Well, how much receiving yards does he get too? I mean,
well, I think they have Samaje Perine who's really good. They have Samaje Perine who's really good. So I think they're going to be cautious with him regardless because Perine is a really good running back, both receiving and running. So I think the fact that they have him there will kind of ease the load. But I think really after week 8, Javonte Williams, his workload should pick up some, where I think he could get to 1,000 yards, 40 grabs, maybe 35, 40 receptions by the end of the season.
Shall see. So I made I got the Supernova 12, so I made basically the four horsemen also, these guys that are about to just destroy fantasy this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get into that later. But all right, let's get into some of these. Let's get into some of these trades real quick. Let's get into some of these trades. I think I wrote down some of these. This was a start 10 team Superflex Camara for the 110.
I don't love it just because I think Kamara's shelf life in a super flex, I think the 110 is pretty valuable. If this particular team that's receiving Kamara is kind of in win now mode, then I like it a little bit more than I don't like it. But the 110 in a super flex start 10 is pretty valuable. So all things being equal, I would keep my first round pick. I wouldn't trade it for Kamara because, like I said, I do think the 110 in a super flex can still be pretty damn valuable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine. I'm actually okay with it. If you're a win now, I mean, obviously you've got to be win now. I mean, if you're not, then you want the 110. But if you're in win now mode, then yeah, I'll spend the 110 and take Camara to try and get that production for this year. Because I mean, who you getting at the 110? It's all those running backs. It's the Kendre Millers and Charbonnets and all them kind of at that back end there. So yeah, give me Camara if I'm win now. Otherwise, I'll take the pick. But yeah, not too bad. I don't mind it either way, depending on your situation there.
I'm just worried about Kamara's like production over the last 2+ seasons. It's kind of been in that steady decline now. Does the addition of Derek Carr kind of stabilize the production for Kamara? I would say it can't hurt. I guess that's the best way to look at it.
Yeah, it can't hurt. I mean, we saw what Josh Jacobs did. Not saying Kamara's Josh Jacobs. Obviously, they're different, but Carr can feed the running back targets, right? We saw Jacobs get a ton of targets last year. We know, what Kamara can do on the ground as well. So I think just a better kind of offense that'll flow a little bit better. Maybe they might not still win a ton, but I think they'll be relevant in games where he's going to get, he's still going to get a ton of his work. So, at worst, what is he, a low end RB1? I mean, high end RB2, I think. So, I'll take that production with the upside for the late first, if I'm trying to go, all out. Yeah, why not?
No, and I definitely don't have an issue from that standpoint. That's why I prefaced it by saying if you're in win now mode, I'm comfortable with that. But I just don't know what his shelf life is, going forward. But he's a high upside guy. Like he can still go out there and give you a game with 20. He can move a needle in one game, like in a single game. He can still move the needle. So, there is good upside there. So the 110, like I said, I would have to really look at it, especially for a guy like Kamara. But if you're going for it, and he could be a missing piece, like you said, that RB2 that you could plug in with some RB1 upside.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, I mean, you got to realize, I mean, especially at his age and at this stage in his career, right? I mean, 1 year, maybe 2 years, like at most.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, running backs in general, we know obviously aren't lasting long. So, what do you guys think? Are you guys paying the 110 for Kamara if you're in win now? So I think that's the question there. Crispy said need 2 more in the hustler. Best ball, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Come on, Hammy and Stevie, get in. I think I've only done one best ball. When are you guys doing it? Let's bring up this next one here, which is Garrett Wilson. This was the 12-team Superflex start 10. Garrett Wilson, the 108 and the 308 for the 102.
I'm in the Garrett Wilson bucket on this all the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the Garrett Wilson bucket on this all because you're only moving down 6 spots, which I know is a significant drop, but you're still staying in the first round, and you get Garrett Wilson. I'm in that bucket.
Unless you need
a QB.
Unless you need the quarterback, right? So if you need the QB, now you're getting Anthony Richardson, Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young for Garrett Wilson and the 108. I mean, it seems about fair price. I guess it really just matters if you need the QB or not. I mean, because you're not getting the QB at 108, right? So you got to give up something to go get the QB. So, yeah, if you're in need of a QB, then I'm okay with it. Otherwise, yeah, obviously I'll take the Garrett Wilson side. But, yeah, I mean.
And also, too, I mean, if you – this is a tough one because if you're rebuilding – because if you're because if you are rebuilding, then you kind of want Garrett Wilson as a building block, but the quarterback means so much more, especially in the Superflex league. So the 102 is, obviously extremely valuable, but I just feel like, damn, man, we get Garrett Wilson, the 108, the 308 I really don't care about, but that's a nice haul if you're giving up the 102 and still staying in the first round.
Yeah,
that's a nice haul.
Because you could look at it the other way too. If you have the 102 and you don't need a QB, now you're getting Garrett Wilson, the 108 and the 308.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough to give up the 102?
Yeah, I think so. I probably wouldn't. I probably would get a little bit more. I'd see if I could get a little bit more anyway. But it seems like a pretty fair price, all things considered. But I don't know, man. If you're getting Garrett Wilson and staying in the first round, I like that a lot.
Yeah, if you don't need the QB.
That's
then yeah, I'll absolutely take that then, because that's Wilson and Zay Flowers maybe,
Quinn Johnston,
UJ, depending. I mean, it depends who goes before that, but
that's still going to be a really nice pick.
Yeah, I'll take it. Diaz said he'd rather try and get a 24 first and 23 second, grab an RB that way. Wait and see who sells off the pieces to rebuild before the deadline. Thank Kamara. Yeah, that's true.
That also is another factor.
I'm waiting. I mean, I have most of my leagues. I need running backs, and I'm not making moves yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting.
No, I totally agree, and I think for me, and especially with the season rapidly approaching, I'm on the wait side. I haven't made any trades in any of the in the startup subscriber league, and values go up, values go down. But when these guys start scoring points, then you could get probably a better haul. And also injuries too, right? Injuries are a big factor in this. When guys go down, there's more of a premium on certain players. So I'm in the wait and see mode, especially with trades in startup leagues.
Crispy said Wilson side, then trading for 2 first plus in 2024. Yeah, I mean, you could probably get 2 first plus for Garrett Wilson right now. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's see what we got on the next one here. We got Najee Harris for T. Higgins.
This is intriguing.
I don't think there was any context to this trade, so I don't have the format on this one. But it's, RB for wide receiver. Najee for T.
This is really interesting. I mean, obviously the context does matter in this. Obviously, what other receivers does the person giving T Higgins away? Clearly, they needed a running back, and I think Najee Harris is going to be a really good, have a really nice bounce back year this year. I think Najee has top 5 RB potential in him this year. So the problem, and I love me some T Higgins, I really do, but I think the problem with T Higgins is I feel like his production's always going to be capped as high-end wide receiver 2 as long as he's in the current situation. So with Najee, he's getting all the volume, the rushing, the receiving, he's getting all that work. Obviously, T Higgins is probably going to be around a lot longer than Najee Harris, but I'm torn on this one, man, honestly, because I think Najee Harris has the higher ceiling over the next couple of seasons as long as T Higgins still in Cincinnati.
No, I'm taking T all day, unless you have like a bonus 0.25 like per carry or something like that, then yeah, then I'm going with T. Give me the upside at wide receiver. Give me the hopeful, obviously we don't know yet, but the hopeful tie to Joe Burrow for a long period of time. But even if he's not, I feel like he could still be a wide receiver 1 somewhere. So as much as I like Najee this year to finish and have a good season, yeah, I'm taking T. I mean, this is what we tell people to do all the time: trade your running backs for wide receivers.
It's hard for me to argue that. I'll be honest with you. It's hard for me to argue with it. I was just trying to play a little devil's advocate and just look at it from the other perspective. But the T Higgins, I'm pretty sure if I was able to trade Najee Harris and get T Higgins, I'd be very happy with that.
Mm-hmm. Crispy said he traded Burrow, Tony, and Jaden Reed for Cousins, Dak, and McCaffrey. So you basically split Burrow into Cousins and Dak and McCaffrey. Jaden Reed doesn't really matter here. Tony, you got CMC, but you got Dak and you got Cousins. Who's your other QB? Because Cousins is good for like 1 year. Like I'm keeping Burrow.
Anytime I see somebody trading Joe Burrow, I kind of flinch a little bit. I'm like, ugh, why would you do that? I mean, you are getting 3 pretty good players. Kadarius Toney.
You get Dak for a while, but still, man, shit.
You think Dak gets re-signed in Dallas?
I mean, yeah, he might, but it's still not Burrow. Like Burrow is top 5, difference maker. Obviously we've been looking at
really.
Burrow is up there. So I mean,
listen, if you have to fill some holes and kind of addition by subtraction, that's kind of what when I first saw this is really addition by subtraction. I'm never a fan of trading Joe Burrow ever, honestly, but
if you're trading Burrow, that's probably the only piece you have and your team is trash, and this wouldn't be a trade to fix that with.
I mean,
right?
Maybe Cousins, Dak, and McCaffrey.
Not if you need to rebuild, because Cousins is, another year maybe. Maybe he goes somewhere else after that, but
I think Kirk. How old is Kirk now? 34?
I don't know, 34, 35. He's getting up there. He's got probably maybe a couple of years left.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm never a fan of trading Joe Burrow. So on the surface of it, I wouldn't give up Joe Burrow.
No, dude. Imagine Dak to Atlanta next year.
That would be something.
That would be fire.
That would be fire.
That will be fire. Anybody to Atlanta, really.
Yeah, but Dak would be that actually. Yeah. The more you think about it, the more that sounds like a really good fit.
You got Pickett, Tannehill, and Levis. No, I wouldn't. Oh man, I think I'd rather just Burrow.
Yeah, I'd roll with Burrow and Pickett.
Yeah, Burrow and Pickett. I mean,
yeah. I'd roll with that.
Tannehill.
Yeah, man, that's hard to give up Joe Burrow.
Here's another. Garrett Wilson for Treylon Burks and the 104. Oops. And this was another one, Superflex, start 10, 12 team. Garrett Wilson, Treylon Burks, and the 104.
See, the
What
problem
side
with
do you guys like here? Treylon Burks and the 104 or Garrett Wilson?
the 104 is it doesn't guarantee you a quarterback if that's what you're targeting. You know what I mean? Because if the top three go Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, A Rich, then that's, then you're essentially going
Then I
Garrett
got
Wilson. Right. You're going Garrett Wilson for Addison, Quentin Johnston, Nate
JSN.
Flowers, JSN, maybe.
JSN, right? So,
Yeah.
or Gibbs, whatever. So Garrett Wilson for JSN and Treylon Burks.
That's a tough one because I think Garrett Wilson is the immediate, especially with the Aaron Rodgers news. Aaron Rodgers is probably going to play there 3 years, like legitimately 3 years. We don't know what the Seattle quarterback situation is. It looks good now, but going into this season, but Geno Smith is not a long-term thing. We don't think anyway. So I think I'm sticking with Garrett Wilson on this one.
Yeah.
Just because I know what I'm getting.
Unless you need to split them. I mean, if you need to split them.
But even still, I think Garrett Wilson, the combined production of Garrett Wilson, I think he'll outscore Treylon Burks and JSN this year.
Yeah, for this year. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. If you, I mean, even still, I mean, you're getting JSN and you're getting Burks. I mean, you can probably sell Burks for a late first. Well, maybe not at this point. Now that D Hop is there, so you might have to wait on him. But it's just the asset in general.
Would you trade away Garrett Wilson for this package if you have Garrett Wilson in our home league? Would you accept that offer if somebody sent that to you?
Well, I'm kind of in the win now mode, so but yeah, I mean, give me JSN and give me Burks. I mean, take the two assets, but that's man, that's tough. I couldn't do it in that particular league because I got Aaron Rodgers and more trying to win at the moment. Mm-hmm. So I do have the stack, so I wouldn't give it up. But if that wasn't the case, and I wasn't a top 3 team, then yes, I'll take the package.
Yeah, I get it. It's and with a lot of these trades, it's all like situational, right? The main part of it is, are you a contender or are you rebuilding? That's pretty much, what you want to know. Obviously, what the format is very important as well. So you have to kind of take all those main factors into account. Obviously, the other positions that you're either receiving or trading away, you have to factor that in. So, but yeah, I think I'm sticking with Garrett Wilson on this one.
I don't know. I just like the package. I just think,
I get it.
Garrett Wilson and JSN might not be a huge difference this year, possibly, yeah, and maybe next year because you got Aaron Rodgers, obviously, with Garrett Wilson. But I mean, after that, what difference really might there be if JSN lives up to the hype and and does his thing? Now I have the asset in Burks as well, who I can sell for whatever. So I don't know. That's a tough one.
No, I get it. I just think because I know what I'm getting in Garrett Wilson and I know who his quarterback's going to be for at least the next 2 years, potentially 3. It's looking like 3. I kind of like that security from that standpoint. If you take JSN, obviously he's playing with another really good receiver in DK. Obviously, Lockett's getting a little bit up there, but Lockett's still going to be a factor for this year at least. So that's why I think I'm sticking with Garrett Wilson there.
What do you guys think about that? Are you guys taking the package, or are you just holding Garrett Wilson? I mean, it's pretty like crazy even. I
Yeah,
would
there's a
think
case
kind
to
of
be
thinking
made.
about it,
Yeah.
like it's not.
Who do you think has the higher upside, though? Do you think it's JSN, the combination of JSN and Burks, or Garrett Wilson over the course of just call it 5 years, even?
I don't even really care about the upside. It's more about the value and what I can get out of these guys. So if JSN if JSN does what we think he's going to do, I mean, him and Garrett Wilson are not going to be that much of a difference apart. And I'm going to get also a Treylon Burks who I can possibly eventually trade, get a first for, or keep him whatever the situation is. So that's a tough one.
Yeah, like I said, for me in that particular situation, like I said, I know what I'm getting from Garrett Wilson. I've already seen him do it with bad quarterback play. He's not playing with another. He is the unquestioned number one there. JSN is not the unquestioned number one in Seattle just yet. Anyway, he's still playing with DK. And like I said, Tyler Lockett's still a factor there, at least for this year. So I know exactly what I'm getting from Garrett Wilson. I know exactly who his quarterback is and who his quarterback's going to be. So I kind of like that. Like I said, I like that stability and knowing exactly what I'm going to get.
Well, let me put it to you this way. What if you take that package and you take Treylon Burks and you throw a first on that and you go, or a second or whatever, and you go out and try and get another wide receiver? Let's see. Let me pull up. What if we want to go out and try and get a T. Higgins
for Treylon Burks?
or Drake London for Treylon Burks plus?
I think that's going to be tough, honestly, because Treylon Burks' value is kind of not great, honestly, based on what we saw last year, based on the offense, based on D-Hop coming in. I don't think people are really that high on taking Treylon Burks. I don't think his value is that great.
Well, if you're giving up the pick, obviously you can try and attack a team. Or what if you don't go as high? What if you go
Christian Watson?
I mean, if you believe in Christian Watson more than Burks, then yeah.
Deontay Johnson?
I wouldn't give that up for Deontay, no. If I'm giving up a Burks
Pickens?
and a first, I'm trying to go for
Burks and a first?
like a Devonta Smith,
Jerry Jeudy?
A T. Higgins, not a first for Jeudy. Not a first and Burks.
I just don't think Burks has much value right now, I'll be honest. That's why waiting on Burks could be really good or really bad. The pendulum could swing both ways. He could get hurt again and really be worth nothing, or DeAndre Hopkins could get hurt and he gets a good volume. So Treylon Burks is a very, very large unknown in my estimation. I'm staying away from Treylon Burks. I'm good.
Yeah, it's still moving for any of those. If any of those were a possibility, because you take it too. If you, I know, depending on how good that team is or not, but Downs or Reed, I take Wilson probably. Cooks or Sutton. Bayou, what up, Bayou? Appreciate you, bro.
Yes,
Wilson
sir.
was relevant with Zach Wilson and Joe Flacco. Yes, he was. Even after Rodgers. Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that he's not going to be as good. What I'm saying is, by the time that happens, him and JSN, it's not going to be a huge difference. I don't think so.
So you have two
from
assets
that point of
instead
view,
of one.
like I'll just take the extra player. I want the asset. I want the asset. I can make more moves.
That's just the thing, though. Treylon Burks, you can call him an asset, but what is he? That doesn't.
What happens when D-Hop is gone after this year or next year, or gets hurt? I mean, Burks is still a young player.
I agree.
You know, would you rather have Treylon Burks or Jameson Williams?
Jameson Williams.
Why?
Well, because I think they're in a better offense. They're playing with a better quarterback. Jameson Williams is playing with a better quarterback now. Jameson Williams can't keep his head on straight, so that's that's a little bit of a factor you got to throw in there. But I like the offense. I like the targets that would come Jameson Williams' way a lot more than Treylon Burks. And Jared Goff is a much better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill in a much higher volume offense. So even if Jameson Williams doesn't get as much volume potentially as Treylon Burks, I think Jameson Williams could do more, because he is explosive. He's an over the top guy. And I think that Detroit offense has top 10 offense potential in it. And you got to imagine he's going to be the beneficiary of some of that with Amon-Ra on the other side.
I can feel that. They're like the same for me. Oh, there's just not much of a difference, you know? So, yeah, if I got JMO, then yeah, give me Treylon Burks plus. You can have JMO.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Like I said, obviously J-Mo would be my wide receiver 3 flex at, I would say, better as my flex, but I love his upside. I love what he could potentially do in that offense with a really good quarterback. So Ryan Tannehill, that doesn't, at this age, with a run first coach, like just the way that whole offense and everything is schemed up. Now I do think Treylon Burks could be good, but what do I see? Low end wide receiver 2 as his ceiling at this point.
At this point, yeah. So if he's a low end wide receiver 2, I mean, what do you think JMO's going to be?
No, I think he could be the same.
You feel me? It's like the same shit. You know what I mean?
No, I agree, but I just think J-Mo could have more of an impact. Like he could make more impact plays in a higher volume offense. That's all I'm saying. So I'd rather take some higher upside. If they're the same, I want the higher upside guy.
Crispy said Cooks or Sutton. That's a good one because everybody's fucking hurt now on
Brandon Cooks.
Denver.
Brandon Cooks.
You want Cooks?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll take Cooks.
Now there is nobody in Denver, so it is interesting, but I don't know. I'd rather just go in the offense that is continuously kind of a top 5 offense than try and bet on Cortland Sutton with Russell Wilson and staying healthy and everything turning around. And
yeah, I think Cooks is a really good complement to CeeDee Lamb. We know Dak is a high volume, quarterback. That Dallas offense is still gonna be pretty damn good. So yeah, I'm taking Cooks. I think Cooks is in for a really solid season. I think Cooks will be a really good wide receiver 2 this season. Really, really solid wide receiver 2 this season.
Yeah, that would be sick if he can give you wide receiver 2 production. I mean, that's going to be rough for him.
The value.
CD, I think, is going to go off, but I mean, for his
there.
cost right now, it's crazy. Like people have just forgotten about Brandon Cooks. Really, there's been some recent videos come out lately of Brandon Cooks and Dak, so it's been getting hyped up a little bit.
I think because Brandon Cooks has just bounced around and he was kind of tucked away in Houston when they were terrible for the last couple of years. So I think he's still a really good wide receiver. So
Downs or Reed?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
That is a good one. Oh no, that's a tough one.
Your boy Reed with Jordan Love, and don't you ever fucking DM me some Christian Watson, Jordan Love fucking touchdown training camp bullshit.
I did that just to get a rise out of you.
I was like, this motherfucker.
That was a sweet pass and a sweet catch, though. You can't deny that. And the DB was draped all over Christian Watson. Like that wasn't no.
I haven't heard great things out of Packers camp. I heard the offense is not doing well. The defense has been shutting them the fuck down.
Well, they got 17 first-round picks on that defense. I would hope so.
Good guess.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one. I like Jaden Reed, but I just don't know how much how quickly he will step up with Romeo Dubes, with Christian Watson, with those running backs. I do think he has the potential. I think I'm going to go with Jaden Reed here, just because that Indy offense I have less faith in than the Packers offense, I guess, at this point. And I think Jaden Reed has a chance to really emerge as a solid wide receiver too in that offense. If he could emerge as the wide receiver two in that particular offense, opposite Christian Watson, Romeo Dubes could kind of be that slot guy. Then I like Jaden Reed more stability wise than anything.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Because I like both of these guys. I mean, I love Downs and I like Reed as well. So, uh, yeah, no, I feel you, Crispy. But I mean, Cooks and Sutton. I mean, same thing. They're both kind of a little bit older. I mean, we're looking at still like really 1 year, 2 year production, even though those guys are wide receivers. So, really just looking at 1 year production almost with those kind of guys. And then Downs or Reed. I mean, I've had Downs higher. I guess I gotta stick. I gotta stick with that. I gotta stick with Downs. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Downs, but I do like Jaden Reed, and I've been known to say on multiple occasions that I do think Jaden Reed can be
You
the number
did?
one receiver in Green Bay. So, but I am gonna stick with Downs here. I think in the totality of the long run here. Udoka, thanks for tuning in. Dynasty trade Chase for DJ Moore and Jalen Waddle. What is the format of this, Udoka? Please let us know. Is this 12 team, 10 team, start 8, start 10? How many offensive players are we starting?
Yeah, normally I don't.
What do you think, Cameron?
Yeah, normally I don't condone trading Jamar Chase, but this is a solid haul. This is something that I'm not going to summarily dismiss, and you're getting 2 for 1. Obviously, Jalen Waddle is fantastic. I think I'm actually okay with this, surprisingly. Now, like you said, what's the format? What are your other wide receivers? But just looking at it, all things equal, I don't think I have that much of a problem with it. I don't condone trading Jamar Chase, but I don't have that much of a problem with it.
It's close. It's close, and it really kind of depends on what you feel about Jalen Waddle and the Tua situation, and what do you think about in the long run. But being that Udoka is telling us it's a 10-team league, how many starters is it? It seems to me it's shallow. And so in that case, I'm not going to take this trade. I'm going to stick with Jamar Chase because
you need that big guy.
We need the hammer. We need the hammers. Not saying that that Waddle's not a hammer or he can't be, but
Chase is that dude.
Yeah.
But I know Jamar Chase was injured last year, but I don't think the production drop off is that much from Jalen Waddle to Jamar Chase, dude. I really don't.
That's what I'm saying. It depends on how you look at it there.
Realistically, Jalen Waddle averaged 15.25 PPR points per game. And the reason why I'm looking at it points per game because Jamar Chase did miss a bunch of games last year. So let me see.
Chase was at what?
Oh, he's at 18.5.
18. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
so you want to kind of look at it from that standpoint because Jamar Chase I think he missed 4 or 5 games last year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he didn't get to play in that Buffalo game.
Well, yeah, depending what you're
games.
looking at. I think full PPR. I mean, it's 20.5 PPR points for him, and for Waddle was 15.4.
Yeah.
So that's I'm not in a 10 team. I'm not. I'm sticking with Chase. Okay. Yeah, Crispy, you're right. The teams are definitely all stacked there. All right, let's
Yeah,
pull up
no,
this
that
next trade here.
okay.
Go ahead, Hammer. Do you want to say?
No. I was just gonna say, yeah. When you break it down like that, when I looked at it at the points per game, it's a difference, and you kind of
This
want
one is a
that.
Bijan trade. It's a
Okay.
Bijan trade I thought was a little interesting. I mean, it's still the Bijan side for me, but it was Bijan for Tony Pollard, Shakir, a 2024 first, a 2024 second, and a 2025 second. And I think this was a 10 team. If I'm not, no, this was a 12 team. My bad. 12 team start 10.
Yeah, I think I'm still on the Bijan side as well, just because Tony Pollard's on the franchise tag, and he's coming off a major injury. Shakir in Buffalo doesn't mean a whole lot to me at this particular point. Now he could kind of evolve into that wide receiver too, depending on what Gabe Davis does, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. And then the draft picks is just I don't think you're going to get the value that Bijan's going to be able to provide you over the next, call it 5 years. Let's call it 5 years, right? The 4 plus the fifth year option. So you're looking at 5 years of Bijan Robinson versus this haul. I think I would have to go with the Bijan side.
It's a pretty easy one almost. Yeah. Yeah, we sticking Bijan there.
I don't think it's particularly close.
So I got up here. Putster. We've got a Antonio Gibson
Ooh,
and
this is nice.
Jahan Dotson
This is
for
nice.
Marquise Brown and Kendre Miller.
This is interesting.
No problem, Udoka. Smash that like and subscribe for us if you haven't already. Appreciate you. But yeah, Gibby and Dotson for Brown and Miller. Let me see if I can find context on this. But talk about it while I try and
Yeah,
find the context.
this is a really interesting, and you could really do a nice kind of breakdown on it because it's a running back and a wide receiver for a running back and a wide receiver. So you could kind of line it up and break it down. Would you rather have Gibby or Kendre? I kind of rather have Gibby kind of right now, but I think Kendre has an opportunity to make an impact down the road. I don't know. The Dotson versus Hollywood is interesting. I think Dotson really that Washington situation is really not ideal. To be honest, if Jacoby Brissett was the quarterback, I'd feel a lot better about Dotson's upside this season. The Hollywood thing, I'm traded for Hollywood in our home league, and that quarterback situation in Arizona, they're probably going to be really bad. I think Hollywood will be decently productive, but I think I'm on the Gibby Dotson side here. Were you looking up context?
Yeah, but I can't find it. I got too many DMs. I cannot fucking find it. Shit. No, I think I'm on the Marquise Brown and Kendrick Miller side. I mean, if you need the running back for now, you get, I guess, you do get Gibby, and you know how much I love Gibby, but I feel like Kendrick Miller I want him more for the long run. And I think Dotson and Marquise Brown are pretty much scratchable for me. So, I find a little bit more maybe value in Kendrick. That's a real tough one. That's tough. But people really like Kendre Miller, so I want what people want. I want the value. I want what I can get more out of. So,
No, and that makes sense. I think Kendre Miller, especially with the Kamara news, I know it's only 3 games, but he'll be a targetable, asset that people will want to buy. And I think you could kind of maximize if you are trading him away, you can kind of maximize his value at this particular point.
yeah. I mean, I don't mind either side. It's really a preference. It's really scratch. It's RB for RB, wide receiver for wide receiver. It's one of those lateral moves like we never particularly love. So Jay, what up, Jay? Appreciate you for stopping in. It's been a while, bro.
Yes, sir.
It's been a while. Diaz, we got some Diaz. We had a Diaz trade up in here.
Ah, shit.
This was a Zeke Elliott and Cheetah for Alec Pierce, Devin A. Chain, a first, a second, and a third. Yeah, I'm easily on the Cheetah side. I like this one, Diaz. Context doesn't even matter almost. But this was a 10 team. Oh yeah, this is a 10 team start 10. So yeah, give me the hammer. Absolutely.
Listen, dude, you get Cheetah, man. Alec Pierce, I'm good. A Chain, okay. There's still two other running backs there. A first, the 2026 picks don't even matter at this point. So
Good
yeah,
point. 10 team. So yeah, that's a nice one.
I would have tried to swap out Ezekiel Elliott and maybe get another actual usable part. I know Zeke may
I take
be.
Zeke. Zeke will be usable eventually. He's gonna go somewhere, whether he winds up back in Dallas or somewhere. I mean, that's fine. Give me a running back. Give me a running back. So Jay said he loves Williams' usage and Kamara's absence. He's going to be a red zone boss. Yeah, I mean, I'm not as high on Jamal Williams. I think he's good in the red zone or down at the goal line, but that's
He's
really it. I
limited.
mean, he wasn't an efficient running back just in general. He wasn't good rushing the football at all. He's able to get touchdowns when you
Yeah, he'll be
need it.
limited.
But I think Kendre just overall the upside I particularly really like. But Jay said he hasn't been around, but he's ready for the season. Yeah, man, we're getting ready to go. Redraft season coming up, so we're gonna have to switch. We never switch off dynasty mode, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll start to try and do some redraft content. And what else would you want in the Garrett Wilson for Metcalf and Deontay trade? Garrett Wilson. You want to give up Garrett Wilson, and you want Metcalf and Deontay. Is that what he's?
Deontay Johnson.
It's got to be.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I would probably need a first rounder, maybe even another. I mean, see, the problem with Metcalf is there's other good players on that team, so it's going to be, and DK's getting older.
I mean, if you need to split them, I mean, the value is pretty even. I would. Hold on, I'll plug in and keep trade card real quick. But I think the value is pretty even. So when you look at it, but I mean, you can say depending how you look at it, right? Because at least maybe in my eyes or some people's eyes, like I've got Garrett Wilson up there, like so he's for me is worth like 4 first. Like he's in that crazy range, like the 3+ first range almost. Like he's almost back in first round, early round, second round pick now. So he's up there as far as what he can cost. I mean, DK is for me. I think DK is always going to be a back end wide receiver 1, high end wide receiver 2. I think that's just what he is. That's what's going to happen. That's where he's going to finish. Lockett has beat him out. I think the last 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody fact check me. But in fantasy purposes,
And now you add
PPR.
JSN.
And now you have JSN coming in, which is basically almost, kind of takes over for Lockett. Eventually, that's kind of the idea, right? So, and then you get Deontay as well. So if you need to split Garrett Wilson into DK and Deontay, but does Garrett Wilson go for, is Garrett Wilson top 5 this year? Top 10.
That's the
right?
That's the problem with trading. Yeah, that's the problem with trading these big time players is, those are, like you said, the hammers, right? Those are the guys that are gonna put you in position, or at least if you're a rebuilding team, those are the blocks that you need. So it's tough, man. It's tough to trade these guys like Burrow and Chase and Garrett Wilson. Those are mainly the guys you want on your team. Young, they're going to be around for a long time. So I would want a little
Yeah, I
bit more
mean,
for
you
that.
you could ask for a first. I think that's depending how everybody looks at it and how people value them. I mean, you might not get a first, but you can always start high and see what happens from there. I mean, how much does this person want Garrett Wilson? So,
Yep,
if you could get a first on top of it, that would be awesome. Um,
agreed.
yeah, just plug in that and keep trade. I mean, it's an even trade as far as keep trade cut and just the dynasty community as a whole. But we keep talking about Deontay Johnson, how he was, wide receiver 30 last year and
With no
0
touchdowns.
touchdowns. Obviously, that's got to improve. So, you know, I'm okay with it. If you're trying to win now and you need to split it and you need the extra wide receiver help, then, but for the long run, like, yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think you want to. I think even though it's sort of an evenish trade, like you just don't feel good about giving up Garrett Wilson. Like
that's my
I think
point.
that's like the biggest. That's like the biggest thing because if you keep Garrett Wilson and he does go off and do his thing, now he's really going to be worth up there. So
Which he already is.
which he is in most people's eyes, but there are a lot of people that he's still not. So that's tough. Let's put Diaz had another trade up here of Patrick Mahomes and Tony Pollard for Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields, and a 2023 first.
Give me Mahomes. It's
Yeah, give me
that
Mahomes
simple.
too. I don't
It's
care.
that
Yeah,
simple.
yeah, give me Mahomes. I'll
Yeah,
take it. Diaz over here just killing people.
it's just that simple. Because you're getting top 3 quarterback, dynasty. That's 101 type shit.
Well, you're taking out the risk of Fields. Like, yes, he's got the upside, but you're straight just mitigating the risk there, and you're not having to worry about that. And I'll get rushing quarterback on top of that. This one was a good one too. This one was Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall for ETN, Drake London, and Pierce. But this, just for some context, this was a 10-team, 1 QB, and it's a start 8.
One QB, start 8.
Mm-hmm. Start 8. I don't know why everyone's trading Garrett Wilson, Marty. I don't fucking know.
That's actually a good question. I'm starting to pick up on that, and people are trading Garrett Wilson, and the fact that if you are trading Garrett Wilson, you better get some fucking sick a sick haul.
I mean,
I'm on the Wilson Brees haul on this side.
yeah, I mean it's a start 8. And we're taking the 2 guns. As much as I love Drake London and ETN, we kind of are on the fence about, but he still could be really good. Now, there was a thing that came out where they're saying the coach said that they want him to run for 1,600, 1,700 yards. That is actually not true if you listen to the whole snippet of what the coach was saying. That was not what he was implying, and I think that was taken out of context. And oh shit, Diaz said the first was Bijan. So he gave up Bijan, Fields. Damn, I fucking exit already.
And Aaron Rodgers from Mahomes.
Still seems like a lot, but I don't care. I'll still take Mahomes.
I think I agree.
Still take Mahomes. I don't care. It's a running back. I still take Mahomes.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree.
I still take Mahomes.
He's the holy grail at this point. If you got him on your team, you have a chance.
But Garrett Wilson, you could say that you could trade him because just the perceived value of what he is right now to take advantage of that, right? What if he gets hurt? What if he doesn't produce a wide receiver one season? I mean,
But
you know, then his
that's the
value
thing.
might go down. So, we talk about taking advantage of values all the time, right?
I'm okay with trading Garrett Wilson, but not for Drake London like if I'm trading Garrett Wilson, I want to get back uh Jalen Waddle plus maybe, right? I want to get Jamar Chase if I can, right? See if you can get Jamar Chase, like see if you could get CD Lamb, like target
You trade up.
those.
You trade up.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
Don't
tear
trade
up.
down. Yeah, you're not gonna trade Garrett Wilson and tear down and split him. That's silly to me, anyway. If you're trading Garrett Wilson, tier up. Garrett Wilson and a little bit something on top for a CD Lamb, like I said, a Jamar Chase. Fuck it. Go after Justin Jefferson if you can. Garrett Wilson plus for Justin Jefferson. Fuck it. At that point, just reach for the stars.
Yeah, and that's kind of exactly what I've been saying with, George Pickens and Christian Watson, right? Use them to tier up because that value is there right now. Speaking of George Pickens, he had that sick catch that everyone was going crazy about. I don't know, remember if we talked about that or not, but
No, I don't think so. But we've seen, it seems like we see George Pickens, we've seen him make that in a real game. So that's not just some training camp bull jive. Like we've seen him do that in live action. So George Pickens has the talent. It's not, consistent enough at this point for us to think that he's, in that upper echelon. But uh Pickens can make some catches, man.
well, we
He's
know we know he's got the hands, and I posted it right away when I saw it, and I kind of shitted on him. I didn't mean to shit on him, but
yeah, you did.
everybody was talking about the catch, but nobody was talking about the horrible release off the line. Nobody was talking about the offensive fucking holding or the no separation that he had, right? He
Mm-hmm,
can make
mm-hmm.
great catches, but is he going to come down with enough of that's what he did last year though. We're going to see this, are we going to see the same exact thing? Like we want to see more. That's the problem with Pickens. We want to see more than just him being able to
Yeah,
make those catches. We want to see you getting open, and
consistently.
running
Yeah.
more routes than what he did last year because they had him, they had him run a lot of those go routes last year. So is that going to change this year?
No, it
Um,
makes sense.
and I like George Pickens. Don't get me wrong; he's just one of those guys where I'm like, you know what? I'll just use him to tear up. Let me take advantage of the hype. So yeah, I think I like kind of what you're saying there too. If you do want to trade Garrett Wilson, then use him to tear up, while you can. So Jay said he's
Yeah.
not as high on Brees, but Wilson is a stud. I like
I
Brees.
don't
He
know,
was a
man.
monster before he got injured.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, so I do still
Reese.
like Brees.
So do I. Now this year, I think the expectation shouldn't be for him to just return to what he was doing. Obviously, before he got hurt. I think they want to ease him back. It'll be really interesting to see if they do bring Dalvin Cook in, or if they do bring in another, somebody to kind of, work him back. But Brees is still going to be awesome. Like similar to Javante, where I think at the back end of the season, especially if the Jets are going for it and say they're fighting for, I think one of our subscribers brought it up before. What if the Jets are fighting for the number one seed? You don't think Brees Hall is going to be a big part of that down the stretch of the season? So, and going into the real NFL playoffs as well as fantasy playoffs. So, I think Brees Hall will be a really nice addition if you're able to pick him up, and I think he's going to be a stud down the stretch.
He said he agrees with the skill, but the running back market got me leery of long term
Rightfully so.
investment. Well, you can't. That's the thing with running backs. You can't ever bank on long term investment. You've got to take it in like 1 and 2 year increments. Like you can't. You can't. That's why I never draft running backs like in Dynasty until later on. Like I don't want to invest in a running back because it just locks you
Hmm.
into 1 or 2 years. It locks in your your assets that you have into you're tied into your running back position, and that for the most part winds up hurting you, depending on the format, of course.
And also the injury risk is inherently higher with these running backs, right? Even young running backs. We saw Javante, Brees, Saquon. Like, we see these young running backs like get injured, and if you're expending, as you said, a lot of early draft capital, that's going to hurt you.
Jay said kind of similar to ETN, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't trust him. Now, I will say Brees is kind of a different running back where he can handle like the 3-down workload, more like some of these other heavy hitter guys where ETN is just not that type. So I would say there is a small difference, but of course, I mean, you're not trying to invest in the long term in running backs. I mean, anything more than 3 years is a fucking blessing. Like, there's not many guys that are able to give you that top 12 production, top 6, top 5 production
Can be tough,
year
yeah.
in, year out. So, league, I'm thinking about trading Wilson. My other wide receivers are Waddle, Terry McLaurin, Ayuk, Cobb, Lazard, and Reed.
That's not terrible.
Yeah, I can see why you wanna do the split. Wait, how about you keep Wilson? What if you down tier from Waddle? Can you get DK plus for Waddle? I'd rather trade Waddle than Wilson almost. I've been trying to tear down from Waddle in a couple leagues. It hasn't worked yet so far, but
I mean, to be honest, having Garrett Wilson and Waddle as your 1-2, that's pretty damn good.
yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. I kind of would stay where you're at. I mean, you've got Wilson, Waddle, McLaurin, and Ayuk. I mean, you don't really have a reason to break it down into 2 wide receivers. I mean, you got Jaden Reed there. Can you buy an older wide receiver for like a second round pick? Wait till the season. I think, roll with what you've got and then make moves when you need to. I don't think you need to make this move yet. Because you can buy an older, cheaper guy, down the stretch when you need it.
Yeah, I tend to agree from that standpoint. Don't give up your young core stud guys to break it down. I don't like that, especially if you have 2 really young kind of stud guys in Wilson and Waddle. See if you can, like you said, turn Terry McLaurin and Ayuk into something, or Ayuk and Lazard into something, or any combination of anything after Wilson and Waddle, and just add to that instead of breaking it down.
Okay, where he is even, now with Wilson, Waddle, and Ayuk. You got McLaurin, who's a little bit older, but he's still got some years left. So you're good with like those 4 wide receivers. So, if you're gonna move off one, like what is your goal to move off of Wilson or Waddle? Like, why do you want to break those guys into 2? What is your plan? What are you trying to accomplish? What's the strategy there for it? Like,
that is the question.
Also, Gabe Davis. Not that matters. Nope, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
I'm glad you left him off.
No, it does not. You know exactly where we're going to go with that.
He put Cobb, but didn't put Gabe Davis.
That shows the level of disrespect coming Gabe Davis's way.
Great point about running backs like Javante. Remember having CEH was like having gold. Yeah.
That first year.
How does CEH feel now? He feels like a piece of coal, not gold now. This was another one with Bijan Robinson for Jacobs and 2 2024 firsts.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was a little spicy.
Yes. That was good. Yeah, this is spicy.
Start 10, 12 team Superflex.
Two first-round picks is nice in a Superflex. How many teams?
12 team.
12? I think I like the I think I like the first round pick side, the Jacobs and the 2 firsts. As much as I think Bijan's going to be really awesome, I still think Josh Jacobs is still going to be pretty damn good. And those 2 first round picks, like that could really set you up nicely.
Yeah, but it's just tough. Like, do we trust Josh Jacobs to play this whole season?
I mean, we talked about Josh Jacobs
This
in
is a legit thing. Josh
yeah,
Jacobs, I mean, Jonathan Taylor. I mean,
I
Saquon, I
agree.
don't think we have to worry about because he wound up taking the deal, and
No,
they're
say
more of a team that can most likely going to make the playoffs.
yeah.
So I'm not more worried about Saquon as much as like a Josh Jacobs or a JT. You
Yeah,
know,
Jacobs I'm definitely worried about. And if you haven't seen our buy or sell video, we brought up Josh Jacobs, and we talked at length about Josh Jacobs, where not only are you worried about if he plays, but when he does play, if he feels a little tweak, does he sit out for however long? Does he get his games in? His eligibility we talked about. Does he, towards the end of the season, if they're 4-10, does he go out there, in the stretch run of the playoffs when you really need him? So those are all legitimate concerns, but I think I still like that with the 2 first round picks. I think I still do like that with the 2 first round picks.
I wish we knew if these were early or late,
I would agree.
or projected at least, of course. But even still, I mean,
Because remember, you can also turn those 2 first round picks into something else as well.
yeah, just for the assets. I mean, Jay brings up a good point. Says Jacob still has great age, and do we trust Bijan to play the whole season? Right, the offense caters to him, but his potential usage scares him injury wise. So
At the running back position, there's always that inherent, like I said, risk of injury. But like I said, I think I'm thinking more how you think for this specific trade in terms of the assets, because I do think, like, if they do play a similar amount of games, I do think their production won't be that much of a difference, where I'll still take the 2 first round picks.
yeah, they just
With the
want the
Jacobs,
assets. 'Cause if you're looking at it, like we said, right, running backs year to year or every 2 years, I mean, you're just swapping out Jacobs for Bijan, and you're getting 2 firsts on top of it.
which in a super flex, that's very valuable.
You can probably get another early to mid first for Josh Jacobs. So you're looking at like 3 firsts. I mean,
The Jacobs, like I said, the Jacobs situation is legitimately scary. Like we have
it could go
no
either way.
idea. We have no idea. I do think he might miss a game or two to start the season, but realistically, he's gonna play. That he's not holding out for the whole season, because he's not gonna forego his free agency eligibility next year. He's not doing that. So
What do
he's
they
gonna
got to play?
play
6 games, I think.
6, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Marty said could say the same about Derrick Henry minus the contract issues.
But
I think
remember,
Tennessee
Derek,
is going to be decently competitive, though. No, in that division.
I think so. I don't. It's going to be tough, just because I think. Obviously, we think Jacksonville's going to win that division.
Oh, my problem with the
But
Titans, I think we've talked about it before, is we never expect them to be that good. They're never that good, and they always wind up there for some reason. Because Derrick Henry is just a monster.
I'm looking at the NFL free agency.
Jay said he would max out, ask for a second somewhere, or a nice mid-tier running back or wideout. Yeah, always got to ask for a little bit more. Absolutely. Ridley gonna be someone. Ridley is him apparently. I like Ridley a lot. I think he could be a wide receiver one. We'll see what happens. You know, he's in my Supernova 12, so Jags run away with it.
So it's actually not 6 games. It's 3.
No, I'm pretty sure it's 6. No, I think
Listen
people
to
are
this.
talking about it.
Generally, you earn a credited season if you are on the active, inactive, IR, or PUP roster for 3 or more regular season or postseason NFL games. You also earn a credited season if you are released, injured, and receive an injury settlement or grievance for the equivalent of 3 or more regular season games. That doesn't make a lot of sense because there's 17 games, so 3. That 6 sounds more realistic, but it says 3. Oh, but here we go for the NFL. It says 6.
There you go. Yeah, it's 6.
Yeah, and NFL.com, it says in order to accrue a season, a player must have been or should have been full play status for at least 6 regular season games. So that sounds more realistic.
All right. Jay said they traded Ridley for a 2024 first, a 23 second, and Mooney. I like that. You get a first, you get Mooney. I don't mind that, even though I love Ridley.
I mean, if you have, I would imagine if you have Ridley, you have other good wide receivers. So if you're turning Ridley into 3 assets, I'm okay with that. If you want to go for the ship, then I would hang on to Ridley because I think Ridley's value could go even higher once he starts kicking ass on the field. I was talking about that video we saw of who was running the route. Was it Zay Jones running a route and then Calvin Ridley running a route? And it just looked like, yeah. So I do think if you want to trade Calvin Ridley, I think the smart play is to wait because I think his value is going to increase once he goes out there and just starts busting ass.
I think the Raiders take care of Jacobs. Davis guy always breaks the mold, do the right thing. Jacobs will be fine. You would think that, but I mean, dude was they said he was in the parking lot with Max Crosby and waiting to see if the deal was going to get done, and then the deal wasn't done.
But the problem I have with that, Jay, is if they would have done that, it feels like they would have done that already. You know what I mean? Like it feels like they had a whole off season where we're past mini camp, we're past free agency, we're past the draft, we're in fucking training camp. Like the season is basically a month away. So it feels like if that was going to be the situation, it would have resolved itself already, and it hasn't. Like he left Vegas. I think the reports were he's not even in Vegas right now.
Eagles signed Miles Jack. Thank God I drafted him way too early. Got bailed out. I got a weird feeling about Ridley's injury, especially the foot injuries. I mean, he missed time, yeah, but it wasn't because of injury. So, I mean.
And remember, he hasn't played in a year and a half. So he should be fresh and ready to go.
Listen, he was one of the best route runners and best wide receivers in the game. I mean,
he was ascending.
And it's not a Michael Thomas situation where he had like a botched surgery and all this other shit. So I seen a meme the other day that Michael Thomas was back on the field and he ran a slant route, and they were like, he's back and he's still running slants. Oh man, slant boy. I think that's all the trades I got right now.
No, that was a solid.
The ones at least I pulled up. But yeah, I'll get into the 4 horsemen, and I'll show the Supernova 12 real quick. Slant boy, there you go, Michael. What's up, Michael? Appreciate you tuning in. Yep, they were like, Slant boy's back, running slants again. But he just got back on the field, I think. So he's just so weird. Like you would think he would be ready and be, running and practicing and fully already, and like he wasn't, which was just weird. But whatever, I don't know, man. At what point does Michael Thomas become a value to draft? I mean, if he's healthy and he's playing.
I don't know, because we saw it last year, right? He came out at the beginning of the season, had a bunch of touchdowns, and then got hurt. Like, we kind of know what his story is now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Could help with the trades I've done. Yeah, man. Let me know. I think some other people. I got so many trades. I couldn't obviously get to all of them, but we'll do another trade show with some of the other trades I got because we could definitely do another one just to get injured again. Yeah, man. What's up with your boy JK? I have no idea. Apparently, I guess he's still holding out or whatever the situation is. Still waiting to hear, but I think they'll get that cleared up eventually. Well, hopefully, at least. But you never know. You never know. I mean, they haven't brought in anybody like significant, so I don't know. All right, Supernova 12, baby. G. Willie, Olave, Judy, Elijah Moore, Drake London, Calvin Ridley, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Sky Moore, Hammer's favorite, J.K., Gibby, and then the combo of the three rookies of Gibbs, Bijan, and JSN.
I like it for the most part.
Jay, you're right. He absolutely started off strong, but when you look like deeper into it, like he wasn't on the field for a lot of the plays. They used him down in the red zone, and he kind of just boxed out people, and he did score, some tutties. But how long did that last? It did not last very long.
No, we kind of
So
knew that was
it's
coming.
just tough to say. Like if he's playing, like obviously there's going to be a point in the draft where he's a value to draft him. Like obviously there'll be a certain point where you might want to take the chance on him, but
So
for Dynasty at least, like no.
So to your point of so he only played 3 games last year, and he played 61% of the snaps week 1, 76 week 2, which is, you like to see that. That's a solid number, 70 to 75. And then he played 68% of the snaps in week 3. He had 3 touchdowns on 22 targets, 16 receptions.
It was just boxing people out in the end zone and just catching tutties.
Yeah. But you don't like the sustainability. He's 30 years old now, coming off crazy injuries. He hasn't been good since before COVID. Let's put this into perspective. Michael Thomas last season was before COVID. Okay, so please, guys, let's put Michael Thomas into perspective.
Michael said he's got the 7th pick in a 12-man PPR. He's thinking about Kelsey or Hill. So I'm guessing that is 1 QB. I'm going to guess you're talking about redraft and not Dynasty. Thinking about Kelsey or Hill with the 7th pick. I know it sounds crazy, but I think Kelsey does warrant consideration to go so high. Redraft, yeah. Which I know sounds crazy even for a tight end, but is that not an insane advantage at tight end? I mean,
it is. Yeah, it's a redraft.
We see the warp, how much of a difference he makes. Obviously, he's getting up there in age, so you want Kelsey or you want Hill?
I'm taking Hill. As much as it's at the 7, the 1-7, nah. I'm taking Hill.
Yeah, I think.
It's not insane, honestly.
No, it's not. That's the thing. Like, and it's like, and I've never ever wanted, or like taking a tight end that high, especially in redraft. But what Kelsey's done, I mean,
You can't argue with it.
is is rough. But
Can't argue with it. I'm still taking
yeah,
Cheetah though.
I don't know. Kelsey's close, bro. I might have to go Kelsey. I might go nuts and go Kelsey. I just want the advantage at tight end. I want that advantage. I mean, fuck. It's a cheat code. Like, there you go. Crispy said Kelsey. Marty said Kelsey that high is not insane. Yeah, bro. It's not. No other tight end can do what he can do. Absolutely, bro. Put up wide receiver numbers.
Yeah, it's a
Bro,
massive
you're in a
drop off.
tight end spot, then yeah, you take Kelsey. I'm not opposed to it. I'm okay with it. It really just depends on who you like better. But I'm not opposed to it. Yeah. Marty said, where was it? JK's losing supernova status quick. Yeah. I mean, do we have to replace him on the supernova 12 or no, I gotta stick to what I said. I'll stick to my word. I'm still gonna go with JK.
That's the one thing about that's the one thing about Steve is he has to die on the hill that he stands on until there's evidence otherwise. Like Baker Mayfield, like some of these other guys. He's gonna
Oh,
stand
bro,
on
but
that hill.
I gotta stand by what I say. I'm a man of my word. That's it. JK's in the Supernova 12. That means JK is part of the Supernova 12, bro.
All right.
Um, so yeah, that's Supernova 12. And then I came out with another one. I didn't really do a graphic for it. It's kind of just plain, but I call it the Four Horsemen. And these are guys that I think are gonna just explode more than what they already have. This is like even more than Supernova. So that's why we call it the Four Horsemen. But check it out. Because I think that my boy JJ could possibly go for 2K. I think that's really in the realm of possibility. CD Lamb, I've said and I've been known to say I think that there's another gear for CD Lamb to possibly hit with a full season of Dak. And I know some people have been off of Dak, and the whole interception thing, but I think CD can take that next level step. So, he can finish top 5, top 3. You got Justin Herbert, who, we talked about is throwing for 5,000 yards. It's just a matter of the tutties. And he had some hurt guys last year. He gets Quentin Johnson this year. He's got Meg Williams. He's got Keenan Allen. Hopefully these guys can stay healthy. But I think that Herbert, we're going to be talking about I think Herbert, we're going to be talking about in that Burrow, fucking Hurts, and Josh Allen tier. I think he's going to be up there because he's going to throw 40 something tutties. And then you've got my boy Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God himself. I know Hammer loves him, some Sun God. But yeah, I mean, you've got Jamo missing the first 6 weeks. You've had even last year, I think 2 games he had to come out early. He's going to be Josh. He's going to be Jared Goff's security blanket. And I mean, shit. What do you have? 100 and how many targets St. Brown had last year? Like 140 or something, almost 150. You're talking about 160, 170 possible targets.
Amon-Ra St. Brown last year had 146.
Can that increase? Can Amon-Ra finish top 5? Can Amon-Ra, who got tackled at the 1 yard line, if I'm not mistaken, like 4 times? Somebody's going to have to look that up, but I believe it was 4 times. If those turn into tutties, how many receptions he had?
106.
106. Do we see a 120 reception season from the Sun God?
It's not out of the realm of possibility. And I think, like you said, with I think what you said about J-Mo being out, Jared Goff, they have a fantastic rapport now. This is their 3rd year together. So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, so what do you think about the Four Horsemen? What do you think about these guys? They're already up there, but is there another gear?
that if I had to pick one guy to say, yeah, I think there's another gear, I think it's Justin Herbert. I really do, just because I love the Quentin Johnston edition. I think he could be a sneaky rookie of the year pick because obviously Justin Herbert's amazing. The other two wide receivers that are in that, the top two wide receivers that are in that room get hurt often, and they found themselves without at least another kind of go-to guy when either one of them or both of them were out. So I think that's awesome. Austin Eckler is going to be back, which is obviously good for that offense as a whole. So I think Justin Herbert would be the guy I zero in on. But listen, we know Justin Jefferson's amazing. We know CeeDee Lamb is really good. And obviously Amon-Ra is fantastic as well. But I do think Justin Herbert has another gear just because he's been so limited in when his full complement of weapons are on the field all together, playing a significant amount of games. And for the touchdowns and the yardage that he puts up, I think he could go for another 5,200, 40 touchdowns potential, this particular season. So we'll see what happens. I do worry. It's weird, right? Because anytime we talk about the Chargers, it's always but. It feels like no matter what, even going back to the Phillip Rivers days, it just seems like they're snake bitten somehow. So, but yeah, I think Justin Herbert really is the guy here, especially coming off last year was a little bit of a down year just because of all the injuries I talked about, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, etc.
Michael said he knew I would put St. Brown. Listen, St. Brown's been my guy since rookie season. I mean, going into that second season last year, a lot of people were not on him. Like, Swift was hurt and Hawkinson wasn't playing, and there was all these injuries, and that's why he did what he did. And then he came out and just fucking continued to do the same exact thing. It just did not matter. He just commands targets, and they have literally nobody else there. Like, who else is there for them to throw the ball to? I mean, you got Gibbs now, of course. Gibbs and Monty, and
they brought back old reliable Marvin Jones.
Yeah, I mean, I like Marvin, but he's not taking targets away.
I know.
From St. Brown. So I love me some St. Brown. So yeah, what do you think about St. Brown on being one of the four horsemen?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that, and just from the standpoint of trading away Hawkinson, right? That opened up a lot more targets to go to Amon-Ra. They did draft Sam Laporta, so I'm really interested to see how Sam Laporta kind of fits into the target share. But yeah, he should get at least 8 targets every single game, at least. And it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if he had 10 games of 10 plus targets this season.
So can we get a top 5 season from St. Brown?
That's going to be tough just because there's so many good wide receivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Justin Jefferson, obviously, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown. You could throw Jalen Waddle in there. So that top 5 is tough. I would say top 10, yes, is more attainable. Top 5 is going to be tough.
JJ? 2K?
Oh, man, that's... You know what? It might sound crazy, but I think it's attainable. So let's run some quick numbers. They play 17 games. Let's stack it up. 2,000 divided by 17. He needs 117 yards every game. Call it 118. He needs to average 118 yards a game.
What did he average last year?
Let me bring that up really quick. I don't think that's on Sleeper. I don't think they break it down.
No, just take the yardage and just divide it by the games.
That's true. Players search.
117?
Yeah.
For 17 games, that will give him 2,000.
Mm-hmm. So he had 1,800 yards divided by 17. So 1,800 divided by 17. 105 he averaged.
12 more yards on a high octane offense. Defense still sucks. Kirk still all that bitch a ton.
Defense still sucks. Oh, I love that. I love that.
We gotta be real here.
I hear it.
Gotta be real. We need. I mean, if we want to win the Super Bowl or at least get there, I mean, we're gonna need 2K out of JJ.
You're not getting to the Super Bowl. Stop it. Stop it. Please stop.
Don't be mad because y'all definitely are not. Y'all don't even have a chance. So at least we've got a shot.
No, you don't.
We've got a shot.
No, you don't. You can't beat the Giants.
Bro, shut your mouth. We're coming back this year. We're taking the division because that shit is ours.
So Justin Jefferson had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games of over 100. He had a 200-yard game. That's wild. He had a 193 game.
Who's that? What are you talking about? JJ?
Justin. Yeah, he had a 184. But then he's had a couple of dud games. He had a 48. Yeah. He had a 14-yard game, a 33-yard game, a 15-yard game, a 38-yard game. So when he goes off, he goes off. There's just no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to go off more than he doesn't. So yeah,
Michael said Herball's going to be a beast. St. Brown is there when it comes to the second round. I'm picking him. Hell yeah. Marty said he likes it. Marty said Ayuk for him. I love me some Ayuk. I love me some Ayuk. Not one of the four horsemen. I could have put him on my
Supernova.
On a Supernova 12, but I could only fit so many guys, bro. There's so many guys that I like, but I could only fit so many into the Supernova 12. Michael said St. Brown missed some games. Yeah, I think he came out of 2 games, and one of them was in like the first quarter. It was like the first series. That was after the whole concussion thing was happening with Tua. I think St. Brown got hit, and they took his ass out. They wouldn't let him come back. And then CD. What do you think about CD?
Oh, yeah. CD has everything. The best thing that could have happened to CD Lamb was Amari Cooper getting shipped out of town. He's that dude. And the thing that I like about CD the most is even when Dak wasn't there, CD was still playing well. So that bodes well. If you get a full season of Dak, I think the sky's the limit for CD. I don't see 2,000 out of CD, but I think CD easily 1,600 plus, 10 touchdowns.
That's what I'm saying. We're hitting the next year,
grabs,
bro.
Yeah, over 100 grabs.
He had over 100 last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. These guys are going off.
I'm not saying that Brandon Cooks will do anything, but I think that teams will probably roll a ton of coverage CD's way and make Brandon Cooks beat them. So that'll be interesting to see if teams start doing that. He's still going to get his.
Last year, though. They rolled shit to him last year, and
he's still going to get his. Yes. So,
but I think he's good enough. He's one of those guys where it doesn't matter. I think he's going to take. He's going to take that next step. I think he's going to try put himself in that JJ and Chase tier. Like I think that's what I'm feeling for CD, baby.
Not out of the realm of possibility.
No,
for sure. With a good quarterback in a pass-heavy offense,
we're getting close. What are we? A literal month away, right? When's the first game?
Virtually. The first game, I believe, is September.
Isn't it like the 6th, 7th, 4th, some shit like that?
7th. Thursday the 7th. 1 month away.
So we're a month away. We got drafts and shit going to be coming up. We got redraft mode coming.
Yeah, it's
almost
like Christmas come early. I love it.
We've got big show Wednesday night, right? That's Wednesday on the 9th.
Yeah, buddy.
Big show Wednesday night. We've got the GOAT, Scott Connor from Dynasty Trades and 5 and Dynasty and Chill. He's coming on to talk about Warp with us. So we'll go over Warp and what it can do for us. How can we use it, in our drafts? How can we use it, in trades, in strategy? So he'll be coming on to talk Warp with us. So that'll be exciting. Make sure you guys are here for that. 10 o'clock on Wednesday night Eastern, 7 Pacific. Pacific.
6 Pacific.
Pacific.
6 Pacific.
No, 7, bro. It's 3 hours, dude.
Yeah. So, 10. I thought you said 9 Eastern.
No, 10 Eastern.
Gotcha.
10. But all right, we're about to get up out of here. Throw any last questions you got out there, but appreciate you guys. Michael, Marty, Jay, Crispy.
Yes, sir.
Everybody who came through. Hopefully I'm not missing Diaz, Udoka. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody. Bayou came through. Shout out to Bayou. Kevin, as always, everybody out there, smash that like, smash that subscribe if you're new. But we are out of here. Appreciate y'all.